Act to save me.
저를 살려주시죠.
Please save my life.
저희 생명을 살려주시죠.
Please think of my family.
저희 가족에 대해서 생각해 주시죠.
I'm the oldest son in my family.
For context, the video you just watched would end up being the last statement the public ever heard from this 21-year-old university student in a place so feared you wouldn't believe anyone in their right mind would ever want to go: North Korea. Otto Warmbier was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, to Jewish parents, Fred and Cindy Warmbier. He wasn't just a regular student either. Otto graduated high school as salutatorian, meaning he had the second highest GPA in his entire class.
Even when Wyoming's class of 2013 is a thing of the past, we'll have the support of all of these people around us. We'll have the knowledge we gained as a group, and we'll have the reruns, the memories we've created to be played over and over again. Thank you.
Smart, ambitious, with plans of becoming a banker. But as much as Otto loved studying, he also loved traveling and exploring. He'd already visited several countries, including Israel, on his birthright trip. The real trouble started in 2015, when Otto went for a study program in Hong Kong, China. That's where he came across a travel company called Young Pioneer Tours, founded by two Westerners specializing in trips to places most people would avoid. Their slogan even bragged, "Destinations your mother would rather you stayed away from." Through them, Otto signed up for a 5-day tour in North Korea. It was the only way he could go since the US government strongly warned its citizens not to travel there. But the company advertised it as perfectly safe as long as you followed the rules. The group arrived on December 29th, 2015. They toured historic sites,
and I will tell about the incident on the way to the main building, okay?
recorded videos, and even celebrated New Year's Eve at parties. For the entire trip, they stayed at the Yanggakdo International Hotel, the largest operating hotel in Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea. On New Year's Eve, the tourists were taken to Kim Il-sung Square in central Pyongyang, where the celebrations lasted until almost dawn. Between 2:30 and 4:30 a.m., Otto's roommate, Danny Grayton, noticed Otto wasn't around. But when he checked their room, Otto was just asleep. Later that day, on January 1st, the tourists, Otto included, filmed one last video together. The next morning, it was time to leave. The group headed straight to Pyongyang International Airport for their flight back to Beijing. But just before boarding, two North Korean officials approached Otto, signaling him to come with them. He followed them smiling, probably thinking maybe he'd forgotten something at the hotel. The rest of the group boarded and waited for him. But minutes before takeoff, an official returned and told them Otto was very sick and had been taken to the hospital. The tourists forced to take off without any further explanation.
We were trying to protest and not get on the plane yet to wait for Otto. And there was about 3 of us. And the officers with machine guns made us get on the plane.
I guess if a guy with a gun tells you you've got to get on the plane, there's no arguing.
For weeks, silence. Then on January 22nd, North Korean state media finally made an announcement that Otto had been detained for committing a hostile act against the state on the charges of allegedly stealing a propaganda poster of Kim Jong-il from the hotel. And in North Korea, any theft or damage to portraits of their leaders isn't treated like petty vandalism. It's considered subversion, one of the harshest crimes you can commit there. When the news of Otto's arrest broke, his family and friends were shocked, but there was nothing they could do. The U.S. had almost no diplomatic relationship with North Korea, so everything was out of their hands. On February 29th, 2016, Otto appeared in a public confession hearing, still detained. He admitted, or at least read from a statement, that he'd been instructed by the Methodist Church as well as a university secret society called the Z Society, which he claimed was backed by the CIA.
The task was given by the Friendship United Methodist Church. At the encouragement of the Z Society and the connivance of the United States administration.
According to him, the church promised him money and a car if he brought back an item from North Korea, and the Z Society promised him membership if he did the same.
After I came to know that all members get high-paying jobs when they graduate, I eagerly wanted to join the Z Society. The Friendship United Methodist Church gave me my crime task, which is closely matched to the United States administration's hostile policy against the DPR Korea, in order to spread Christianity in the DPR Korea and to increase the church's support from the United States administration.
But the confession didn't make sense. For one, Otto was Jewish, not Christian, so the idea of him working for the Methodist Church didn't line up. And the Z Society itself publicly denied ever having any connection with him. On top of that, Otto was clearly reading from a prepared script, stiff, unnatural, and almost certainly coerced. With no lawyer and no way to defend himself, Otto was forced into a confession most people agree was false. North Korea clearly wanted him as a bargaining chip.
I have made the worst mistake of my life.
Then came March 16th, 2016, Otto's first and final trial. And unlike trials in most countries that drag on for months, this one lasted just 1 hour. The only piece of evidence shown was a blurry CCTV clip of a masked figure pulling a propaganda poster off a wall. The timestamp read 1:57 a.m. on January 1st. But here's the problem. Otto had only been missing from his group between 2:30 and 4:30 a.m. The timing didn't even match, and the video didn't even show the poster being stolen, just removed and dropped on the ground. That contradicted the entire story of Otto saying he was told to steal it. Still, there was no defense lawyer, no one to challenge it. The trial was completely one-sided. Otto Warmbier was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment with hard labor. Before being dragged away, he gave one last statement, begging for mercy. And that clip would be the last time the world ever saw him standing. Negotiations between the US and North Korea stalled for over a year. Sweden, the intermediary country, tried to help, but nothing moved forward until June 13th, 2017. That's when North Korea finally agreed to release him. But what came back wasn't Otto, as people remembered him. It was what was left of him. He was flown to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, unresponsive, thin, and looking like a shell of his former self. North Korea's official story was that Otto had contracted botulism, a rare bacterial infection that can paralyze the body, and that he'd fallen into a coma after being given a sleeping pill. But American doctors quickly dismissed that claim. They found no trace of botulism in his system. What they did find was a severe loss of brain tissue, as if his mind had been slowly starved of oxygen. According to North Korea, Otto had only spent 1 month in jail before falling into the coma, and the rest of his sentence unconscious. On June 19, 2017, just 1 week after returning home, Otto Warmbier died. He was 22 years old. To this day, no one knows exactly what North Korea did to him. Many believe he was tortured. North Korea denied everything, ignored lawsuits from his family, and offered no real answers. Later, his parents did receive financial compensation from the U.S. after a seized North Korean cargo ship was sold. But money doesn't bring back a young man who had his entire future ahead of him. Otto Warmbier's case remains one of the most disturbing reminders of what can happen when you find yourself at the mercy of a regime like North Korea's. If you want to listen to more cases like this, check my last video about a nanny in China whose single mistake costed her everything.